Jenna with the D.D.N.O system. So I recently uploaded a follow-up to my EMDR video, and there were some questions. So addressing more questions on EMDR. Hey! They were asking specifics like how long before you start the tapping / eye movement part of EMDR. That does depend on like how much groundwork you have delay. I would say don't expect it until the second session, but maybe even later. I think ours started second session, but like halfway through because we were still laying groundwork. Also depends on how long your sessions are. I did my usual counseling block, which is an hour. And if you have available longer sessions, I would recommend that. An hour and a half time slot, a 2-hour time slot, because sometimes you really get into the thick of things with EMDR. And this is part of the reason why you do container exercises. So if counseling's over and, you know, things aren't done, you can do a container exercise. However, I've talked to several people who do EMDR, and the ones with the longer time slots available seem to be able to end on better spots more frequently. So I would recommend, if that's available to you, get a longer time slot. They asked, what will a session look like specifically? So for me, we go in, and once everything has been set up, she will ask, okay, do you remember the memory we were working on? Because with O.S.D.D, D.I.D, like, you don't always necessarily know where you ended. So she'll refresh, okay, do you know the memory we were working on? Do you remember where we stopped? And then we open it back up at that point. You are asked to be aware of your body and of the sensations while you are holding on to that memory. And this is helping to process it as well as to then get it coded rightly, because they're doing the bilateral stimulation, whether it's the eyepiece or the buzzer, or they can tap. And that's another thing they'll be figuring out before you start, is which of these work best for you. I do tend to close my eyes. It helps. And so depending on the like school they went to or how they feel about some things, some therapists aren't as, like, if they think you're dissociating, they might try and bring you back. For me, it's been helpful in some instances to dissociate. Like, I'll end up in the inner world, which is not a place I end up frequently as this is going on, and multiple alters coming together with parts of this memory and processing pain together. And so that's something that's happened with a lot of the more intense memories. And my therapist has been like totally cool with that. If she's tapping, and she'll stop, and what are you feeling? Sometimes I just shake my head, like make a motion, like just keep going. And that's one of the nice things about EMDR, is you don't have to talk for it to work. You have to engage in the process, engage in the memory and the body physical feelings. Oh no, shoot. Pardon my Roomba. So that's one of the things with EMDR, is you don't have to talk. You can engage with the process without telling your therapist what's coming up in the memory. You can talk about, you don't have to talk, but you can talk about what you're feeling in your body, where it's moving to in your body, because that's one part of the process, is feeling the trauma through your physical body so that it can then be processed. Let's see, what else? Ride home. It might be nice to have somebody on call for a ride home. I do not always need one, but some memories are very difficult, and my husband always calls me post-session when it's an EMDR session. How are you doing? Do you want a ride home? Do you need a ride home? Sometimes I say no, but I'm just going to sit here and process for a little while. And expect that. Expect that not only that day, but for the next week, your brain is going to be making connections about what you're working on in EMDR, connecting it to where you are and how you function. And it's difficult, and there's a lot of epiphanies, and sometimes those epiphanies are heartbreaking. So be prepared for it to be disruptive. And it is disruptive, but you work through, which, being on the flip side of several memories, I can tell you the first set of memories is the hardest, or the first session set is the hardest. Usually they pick the one that is most foundational, because when you hit this memory that kind of starts things and you begin to reprocess it and rewire how your brain sees yourself and the world, then that has a domino effect on other memories that happened after that. So while my first memory that I chose to work on, the set of sessions, I think it took a month, or not a month, I think it took 2 months, maybe 3 months. But the next thing I worked on took like a session or 2, because this was so foundational that the thing above it flipped with it. And when I say flipped, I just mean like, that's how I visualize like what it does to my brain, is just totally take the table and all the things on it and flips it over. And now it's different. It's clear of that, and I can build on different premises on this memory instead of the ones that were built on it. So anyway, that's what I mean when I say that. It's not scientific or psychological or all. That's just me and my brain. But so because of that, a lot of times memories after that are easier. And it's also easier because you've been through the process and you know, okay, there's an arc to it, a flow. Like getting into it, it's difficult. And the first several sessions are very difficult because you're opening back up this memory and this trauma and really experiencing it. But it does peak, and then you start to come down, so that there will be a time you open up that memory and you're not just in it. You're beginning to like be able to see it with distance and compassion and an adult viewpoint that is very helpful. And so it's easier, and then you continue to come down, and the reframing is super powerful. And it's hard to even realize how powerful it is until you'll be going about your day-to-day life, and things that would have been triggering or difficult or even impossible, now just like you can do them, or they happen, and it's fine. So then future sessions are easier because you've seen it, you know it works. You're like, this is really hard, but the end result is incredible. And yeah, that's all I've got written down. Please do, if you have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and like or subscribe. We've got a Patreon if you want to join us there too. I'll catch you later. Bye. Hi, it's Jenna with the D.D.N.O system, and I recently did a video, the pitter patter of little dog feet. Let's try it again. Ladies, find a spot, lay down. Go, lay down. That's one down. It's so cute. Okay. Again.